The second proposed change to the Agricultural Land Commission Act is to officially introduce 6 regional panels of administration.
2. Formally establish panel regions and provide for the adequate resourcing of panels in each region. The panel regions to be established in the Act are the same ones currently used by the Commission, so there should be minimal disruption to the current panel configuration.
The second thing this bill proposes to do is to create regional panels, and that seems on its face to be a neutral initiative. It proposes to remove key markers of independence for the Commission. So in law and administrative law, you look at the independence of a Commission. Do they have the ability to appoint their own members? Do they have the ability to set their own priorities? And this bill proposes to remove those key markers of independence.
Honourable Chair, British Columbians want the Commission to continue making independent decisions with preservation of farmland as its #1 priority. And these amendments to Bill 24 ensure those views are clearly written in law.
It says that the ALC will, and it's sort of funny because it obviously won't, but the ALC will remain a fully independent tribunal and decision maker. Oh, and you know what? The truth of the matter is, Mr. Speaker, that the ministers should all know that it's an independent tribunal right now, but after they get through with it, it's going to be a lot less independent, and it will not be adhering to the original principle, which is to protect farmland for the future.
These amendments will include the ability of the chair or a regional panel to raise significant applications to the Executive Committee of the Commission. The Executive Committee consists of the chair and 6 vice chairs, 1 from each region. These would be applications that could potentially affect more than one panel region, or where the application deals with a new matter that has not been considered before, where an application is of provincial significance, or where a local panel determines it is best heard by the provincial committee. For example, in the future, the Executive Committee could examine significant projects, as they did in the past with the South Fraser Perimeter Road, or innovative projects like anaerobic digestion, which is the process of turning animal waste into energy, and compressed hay, which is a method of compressing hay so it can be exported. Both are examples of new matters that would be considered by the Executive of the Commission the first time they came up as an application.
So the bill that's in front of this House proposes to create new lines, create new divisions by breaking things up into 6 regional panels. And these people who study protecting agricultural land for a living, they spend their time looking at best practices, released a paper calling for the exact opposite approach. Eliminate the boundaries across jurisdictions. Make it a simplified, single responsibility, a single point of contact to deal with balancing the priorities around protecting agricultural land and encouraging development.
They actually specifically remove references to the purpose of the Commission, and they take away the power from the chair of the Agricultural Land Commission.
In the course of public discussion and debate, it's important to underline, Honourable Chair, that even with the changes to legislation, the ALC continues to decide how land is to be used, independent of anyone else, including me. And to that fact, after consultations with the BC Agricultural Council and reading the letters received, we are reinforcing the independence of the ALC.
Now, the difference in values creates an incentive for cash-poor municipalities to build a case for community need. And, you know, small communities can get a lot of benefit from, you know, development levies and taxes and in return for zoning. So I think, you know, the idea that it's a provincial arbitrator and not a local one protects not just the land better, but it protects the decision makers.
Wow. What are you setting up when you put in place in Zone 2 a decision-making process that is likely going to be worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. You then connect that to a panel that is politically chosen. So you've got the panel that's politically controlled, you have the money to be made, and then you have a criteria for making those decisions that is as wide open as a gate in the barn. It is predictable what you are going to end up with.
Let's be clear on some facts. Our government fully supports the independence of the ALC. We support the agricultural sector and the hard-working men and women who work in it.
So what's the rigor? What is the rigor that is in place in this bill to make sure that there is not abuse of the system? There is none. This is a politically controlled panel, completely politically controlled, making decisions in a back room with no requirements for notice, no requirements for openness, no requirements to make sure that it is going to be a process that is beyond abuse.
To conclude, Honourable Speaker, the amendments will continue to enact the powers of a fully independent ALC to make final decisions on specific land uses within the ALR. These necessary changes to the ALR will improve the agricultural sector, including addressing the need for local governments and regional districts to have the opportunity to engage with the ALC earlier in the land use planning process.
Ensuring that there is not just the zoning is right, that it is one zone, but then there is investment both in the Agricultural Land Commission and in the Ministry of Agriculture budget. From 2002 to 2010, the ALC budget went down by almost $1 million, by $800,000. That's a lot of money, Mr. Speaker, for a small commission. But I think more significantly is that in 2009, the Ministry of Agriculture's budget went down by 25%. The Ministry of Agriculture's budget was cut by a quarter.
As I've listened to the agricultural sector, Mr. Speaker, I have clearly heard that change is important, but not change at any cost, not change that takes away responsibility and accountability, but actually enhances it, that engages local people in the dialogue as we move forward, and that is why the 6 panels are so important, to ensure that local representation is heard and celebrated in any decisions that are brought forward to the Agricultural Land Commission.
The most important part of this paper is when these people who have spent their lives, who have PhDs studying this issue, what are best practices for protecting farmland, they say that the best approach is a unified approach, not a fractured approach that this bill recommends.
But let's face it, what all of this is about is giving land away. They want to have the right for cabinet to appoint 6 vice chairs, for the minister to be able to appoint members to the commission. You can just imagine that these hand-picked crew will be on their mind. And do you think they'll be out thinking about the future of British Columbia, thinking about putting food on the table for British Columbians down the road in 50 years, 100 years? Not on your life, Honourable Speaker. This is all about their political term in office and all about carving off for friends and insiders, changing what's been a good system for more than 40 years. A wonderful system, and as has been said, a legacy that really bears the protection.
They've been doing it for years, but now they're struggling, Honourable Speaker. Presently, the ALR, as it is hurting the farm families in my area. It's slowing down our economy, and it's because of the one-size-fits-all system that we have. It doesn't work anymore for rural British Columbia as it is. In fact, it's now hurting a lot of the farmers that it was originally designed to protect. In fact, I'd probably say, Honourable Speaker, it's really not protecting the farmers at all. It's protecting the land, not the farmers. And this is something that I'm really happy that our side of the House is standing up and we're recognizing. We are trying to protect the farmers as well. We support the ALC. We support the Commission. We understand its role. We always have. What we're trying to do is expand that so we can also recognize the needs of the farmers that are on the land.
No matter how you cut it, and I don't wish to appear overly legalistic when I talk about this, it simply says the Commission must consider all of the following. Now, having considered it, and in descending order of priority, I would argue that it enables the Commission to ultimately decide that some community that wants agricultural land for alienation for some other purpose, that's a perfectly valid reason. An economic value trumps regional and community planning.
What this bill really does is open the door to a number of separate agricultural land policies around the province, to inconsistency of application of the principles of the reserve around the province, to the making of somebody's development proposal an equal value to the importance of agricultural land in areas around the province outside of Zone 1. It allows Cabinet to handpick regional chairs of commissions who will be subject to local lobbying on decisions respecting agricultural land, which is precisely why we have a central commission to ensure that we have a unified approach to protecting agricultural land around British Columbia, and that local issues do not detract. As important as people in a community may think those local issues are, as important as they think their development proposal may be, that it does not detract from the overriding value of the principle of protecting agricultural land in British Columbia for the entire province.
While all legislators agree with the importance of protecting agricultural land and food security, they disagree on the method of how to do it. The capitalist ideology of some representatives of giving supremacy to property rights clashes with the socialist ideology of prioritizing commonwealth or collective good. The current system of representative democracy will continue to rule until a significant number of citizens realize and participate in direct democracy. In other words, when we, the people, legislate through initiative and referenda, as now polling.ca suggests.